Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. The narrow streets of Constantinople lay shrouded in a cloak of twilight, the orange hues of the setting sun bleeding through the ancient domes and minarets like molten gold. The city, once the jewel of the Eastern Roman Empire, was now a shadow of its former self, a tapestry of fading glory embroidered with whispers of despair. Beneath the towering silhouette of the Hagia Sophia, the air was thick with the scent of salt from the Bosphorus, mingling with the acrid tang of smoke from distant fires. It was the year 1453, and the empire faced a fate none dared speak aloud. In a quiet corner near the Theodosian walls, a young man moved swiftly, cloaked in dark fabric that melted into the gathering night. His name was Dorian, a man known to few but whose actions rippled beneath the surface of the great tumult consuming the city. He was a spy in the service of Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos, loyal to a dying empire yet burdened with a secret that tore at his heart. Dorian's lineage was a quiet one, his father a humble merchant, his mother a healer known for tending the sick and wounded in the city's poorer districts. But what marked him differently was a twinkling spark in his dark eyes. A gift for stealth, for words concealed in shadows, for gathering the fragile threads of rumor and truth alike. It was this gift that brought him to the emperor's attention in his youth, and now to the clandestine role that might save or doom Byzantium. This evening, as Dorian slipped between stone archways and silent courtyards, the weight of his assignment pressed heavier than ever. Reports had reached the palace that the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II was preparing a final, devastating siege against Constantinople's walls. The emperor's whispers urged him to find the traitors within their midst, to unmask enemy agents and secure every port and gate. Yet Dorian's heart clenched with the reminder that his own family hid a secret. His younger sister Elena had fallen under suspicion. She was rumored to consort with those who favored surrender, or worse, converse with spies from the enemy's camp. The city's fear had begun to poison even those closest to him. He paused at a small stone fountain near his family's home, the water's trickle soothing the tempest in his mind. His thoughts drifted to Elena, to the laughter they had shared in better days, to the fragile hope that clung to the idea of survival. Did loyalty to the empire demand betrayal of the blood that ran through his veins? Suddenly, a faint sound disturbed the quiet, footsteps approaching, cautious and measured. Dorian melted into the shadows as a cloaked figure emerged, a messenger from the palace. The man's eyes flickered briefly in the moonlight as he handed Dorian a sealed parchment. Breaking the wax with nimble fingers, Dorian skimmed the contents. The message was terse, urgent. A traitor among the city's council planned to open one of the gates to the Ottoman forces in exchange for a place in the new regime. Intelligence had not yet named the traitor, but suspicion fell toward those with influence and divided loyalty. Dorian's mind reeled. If the traitor were caught, the city might yet be saved. But if false accusations were made, innocent lives, including his beloved Elena's, could be destroyed. As the night deepened, Dorian made his way to the modest residence he shared with his family, a place of faded walls and worn wooden beams that contrasted sharply with the imposing fortress of the city. Inside, the low flicker of oil lamps revealed Elena seated at a table, her fingers tracing the edges of a worn letter from a distant relative. "Dorian," she said softly, her voice laced with both relief and fear. "The city grows darker by the hour. You move through shadows, but the light slips from us all." Her dark eyes searched his face. "Have you news from the palace?" He hesitated, then nodded. "There are traitors, Elena. Men who would sell us to the Ottomans for silver and power. We must be vigilant." Her lips tightened as if restraining a confession. "Sometimes, brother, one must think not only of the empire but of those who live within it. I fear many here no longer see the difference." Dorian's heartbeat quickened. What do you mean? Elena rose, moving toward the small window that overlooked the city walls. I have met with certain individuals who believe we cannot win against Mehmed's forces. They seek peaceful surrender, to save what remains. His eyes narrowed. Are you one of them? She met his gaze steadily. I seek survival, Dorian, not betrayal. I believe the city is already lost if we cling too tightly to pride and blood. A silence fell between them. The sister who once dreamed of white marble palaces and scholars debating beneath olive trees now spoke of capitulation and pragmatism. For the first time, their paths diverged sharply. Suddenly, distant drums echoed, an ominous cadence that vibrated through the stones. The Ottoman army was advancing, the final siege commencing. Constantinople would soon be girded for a battle that could end centuries. Dorian clenched his fists. He was forced to choose: to expose Elena and those like her, upholding a doomed empire at the cost of his family, or to protect them, perhaps betraying the fragile hope that remained. In the next days, Dorian's world contracted into a single mission. He moved silently through the palace chambers, the market squares, the shadowed chapels. Each step carried him deeper into the maze of suspicion and concealed truths. Familiar faces turned wary or hostile. Whispers followed him like ghosts. He sought evidence against the traitor, following cryptic messages carried by trembling informants. One evening, in a narrow alley near the harbor, Dorian met a man cloaked in gray. His name was Ahmed, a former Byzantine soldier who had defected, yet whose loyalties remained murky. Ahmed slipped Dorian a sealed envelope and vanished into the night before questions could be asked. Inside, Dorian found a list of names, men of influence and power willing to betray the city for favor with the Sultan. Among them was the name of Demetrios, a city councilman and ally of his own family. Worse, Elena's name appeared in secret correspondence marked as a potential liaison. The storm in Dorian's heart grew violent. Confronting his sister in the cold darkness, he urged her to deny the accusations, to beg the emperor for mercy. She only nodded, the shadow of inevitability in her gaze. If I must fall to save others, so be it. There are things worth more than empire, Dorian, the lives of our people. The fateful night arrived, as Mehmed's forces battered the walls with relentless fury. The city's defenders fought with desperate courage, their swords gleaming beneath the blood-red moon. Flames consumed ancient houses as families fled or hid beneath crumbling arches. Dorian, standing atop the walls, caught sight of Demetrios moving toward the gatehouse with a small detachment. His hand concealed a dagger ready to betray the defenders in a final bargain for wealth and status. With no time to lose, Dorian sprang into action. A swift confrontation ensued on the battlements, swords clashing under the smoke-choked sky. Demetrios fell, his ambitions extinguished, but the gate remained precariously unguarded. From below, cries rose. The Ottoman soldiers pressed their advantage. Into the turmoil, Elena appeared, hands raised in surrender but speaking urgently to the commanding guard. She implored an opening of the gates to save the lives of innocents, to offer a chance at peace. Dorian's heart shattered. He met her gaze, the loss and love entwined in a single moment. Remember, Elena, he whispered fiercely, our home was built on faith and blood. We must stand for it, even if it dies with us. Yet the gates opened, and the tide of history surged forward. As the enemy poured into the city, the defenders rallied in a final desperate stand. Emperor Constantine XI fought among them, refusing to flee, bound by honor and the legacy of Byzantium. Dorian looked upon the bloodied streets, the fallen brothers in arms, and saw the cost of choices made in shadows. He clasped Elena's hand one last time as the chaos consumed all. In death and defeat, the city endured not as an empire but as a memory, a testament to loyalty fractured by love and duty. The assassin who had once served the emperor now lived with a different truth, that sometimes the greatest betrayals are acts of mercy, and the bonds of family remain the strongest empire of all. For more stories, like and subscribe.